Hi, I'm Sue Bova, and you're watching Welcome Home Doggy, where we talk about creating a better quality of life for dogs. Today, we're going to talk with Jordan Bryan of Ruff Runners, a dog running service here in the Atlanta metro area. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, Jordan. Welcome.
Hi, Sue. Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great. And who do we have with us?
This is Elvis. Elvis is about a 4-year-old pup. He's a mutt, and he's been running with me for a couple years now.
Wonderful. Elvis, you are a beautiful boy.
And he knows it, too.
He does. He is so good. So I love the name, the concept, everything about the business that you started called Ruff Runners. And I love your tag, running with dogs.
It's what we
do. Exactly. So before we dig in, tell us about your business career prior to launching Ruff Runners, how you came up with the clever name and what the catalyst was.
So before beginning my dog running service, I had a corporate job in the event industry. So I worked specifically in ticketing, in software, and I enjoyed my job a lot. But when I decided to start Ruff Runners, it was a great way for me to join my passion for animals and my love of running together. So I got the idea, I got the name of the company from one of my very good friends, Leslie. So in 2018, when I decided to launch Ruff Runners, I was constantly talking about this idea with my friends. And my friend Leslie came up with the name Ruff Runners. And as soon as she said it and I heard it, I just knew that was the name.
You were like, that's it, right?
Yes.
So credit Leslie, right, for the name, right?
Oh, definitely. She
knows.
Then,
what was the catalyst for you sort of, leaving that, business career behind?
So honestly, the reason I left my business career behind was due to the pandemic. Now, I've been running this dog running service for a few years now, but it was mostly a side business. I definitely wanted to be able to offer all the dogs the exercise we could, which was limited by my schedule, which I knew. But I started to do some work with a local business club that kind of prepared me for when I was going to lose or quit my job, which set me up for some long-term success.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit and I had to leave my job, it was just kind of a seamless transition into full-time dog running.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is so COVID was the catalyst and a really good one. So Elvis, right, he's been like such an amazing good boy all day. Now he's like, hey, I've had enough of being on set.
Elvis needs exercise and engagement.
Which is exactly why we're here today,
yes,
right?
yes.
Right? So, on your website, you say the following, and I'm going to quote this: partner with an experienced runner who understands your dog's needs and keeps them safe, happy, and enjoying every step, unquote. Well, that sounds like a really good premise to me as a consumer, right? Okay. So tell us more about what a dog running service entails, pun intended.
So a dog running service might be exactly what you're thinking. It is a service where people take your dog running. Now, here at Ruff Runners, me and my talented team, we go to your house, leash your dog up in our special gear, and take your dog running for 30 or 45 minutes in your neighborhood. Now, most clients choose to book 1 to 3 runs a week for their dog, which means they know that their dog is getting as much exercise as they want their dog to get.
Okay, great. So, what kind of dogs typically love to run, and are there any types or breeds that shouldn't be running?
So you may not be surprised by this, but almost every dog I've ever met has loved running. There are definitely some personality exceptions, but dogs need an outlet, and running is the perfect outlet for that.
Yeah.
There are some dogs that you have to be careful about exercising with. The main breeds you need to watch out for are breeds like pugs or boxers. They're the kind of dogs that have a shorter nose.
Okay.
So their breathing system is called a brachycephalic breathing system.
A brachycephalic breathing system.
You got it, Sue.
All right.
So basically what that means is those types of dogs have trouble getting as much oxygen in as a longer nosed dog like Elvis.
Yeah.
So with exercise, after a certain duration, exertion, it could actually cause them harm. So you have to be very careful about brachycephalic dogs.
Wow, never knew that. That is a great tip for our viewers today to take away. So there we go, safety. What percentage of your canine clients are over 40 pounds and under 40 pounds?
I would say about 80% of our dogs are medium or large dogs. But those 20% of those small dogs, you would be surprised at what some of those small dogs can do.
So tell me the smallest dog you've ever had on a run.
Our smallest dog right now is an 8-pound Chihuahua named Bear. He is about this big. And you wouldn't believe how fast that guy can run.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
No, that isn't. Well, and Chihuahuas have a lot of energy, and a little bit high strung. So that probably really helps, right? The dog find its balance and be more calm and, more adjusted in his own body.
You're exactly right. So the physical exercise is good for exhausting them, but their brains need something to keep them busy. And a run with us is a great way to do that. It helps exhaust them mentally as well.
Right. No. So do you ever accept appointments for, let's say, low impact or jogging, light running, as opposed to just full on runs?
So our service only offers runs. We don't do walking, but we definitely do some kind of hybrid programs. We do them specifically for like puppies. So a puppy, yes, good boy,
now
Elvis.
You're talking. You want to be part of the interview too.
He's got a lot to say.
I love it. He's got a lot to say.
So puppies, as their bodies are developing and growing, running for 30 minutes isn't healthy for them. It could cause some long-term damage.
Okay.
So when people have puppies that have a lot of energy that they need to get that out and they come to us, we're able to carefully do some run walking with them to build them up to where they can run for 30 minutes.
Right.
But we are primarily running. We don't do walking or pet sitting or anything like that.
Okay.
And our dogs, all they want is that run. They love it.
Right. No. And that's really good information too for our viewers. So how many, Ruff Runners do you have on your team now? And how many runs do you guys book in a typical week?
So right now we have about 13 active runners, and we do about an average of 50 runs a week, and that varies a lot.
So has that been increasing during COVID, or, how did that change the amount of appointments you took?
Honestly, I don't think COVID really changed much for us.
Okay.
The people who use our service, they are aware that what we can provide to a dog is something that they either can't or don't have the time to. So they are continuing to use our service. Even though they're home, they're still having us come 3 times a week to run with their dogs.
Wonderful. That's great news. So it's a pandemic-proof business.
I feel very fortunate that we're able to operate safely. All of us runners can stay masked. We ask our clients to stay masked.
Sure.
We can pick pups up from porches or backyards, so we don't have to go within 6 feet of people.
Right.
And we're working with dogs, which is safe and easy to do.
Right. How does weather affect your business? Thunderstorms or very cold or very hot, because we're in hot Atlanta.
You have to be super careful when you're exercising with your dog, especially in the summer months. Now, most people know that heat is something you have to watch out for, but humidity is also a really dangerous thing for a dog. The humidity makes it difficult for dogs to get in oxygen. So if it's not too hot, but it's 100% humidity, your dog is going to have a rough time exercising.
So, and they don't sweat, right? So that's going to make, them like a pressure cooker, right? So, and people need to remember that.
And here at Ruff Runners, that's one of the main focal points, is keeping your dog as safe as possible while they're out with us. So we do a lot to make sure when it's hot, your dog has access to water. We're not running on hot pavement. We're staying in the shade. We also shift the runs to the morning or the evening to avoid the hottest times of the day. So there's a ton that we can do to make sure your dog is still getting a ton of exercise, but keeping them out of harm.
That's great. That is such a good point to bring up. And obviously, right, you've been doing this for a couple of years and you've learned these things as you go along, right? But as well as keeping the dog's safety top of mind, right?
That's been our priority from the beginning. When I launched this business, what I did is I did a lot of research on canine exercise and physiology. And I also talked to a lot of local pet professionals to kind of to get a buy-in on what we were going to do and make sure it all sounded safe. And they were so super helpful and not only supported what we were doing, but helped me realize the difference we were going to be able to make for some of these dogs and their parents.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to touch on that in a bit because you do make a difference. What are some of the ways, of course, then that Ruff Runners does make a difference, right, in the lives of their humans and obviously the dogs?
So I'd love to talk about the humans first.
Okay.
The clients that we work with, they are so happy to find my service. And I just love the love that they pour back into this.
Oh.
Our dog running service affords their dog an opportunity to go on the kind of adventure that they can't give their dog. Even if you've got a backyard that they can run around in, your dog probably isn't getting the stimulation that they need. So our clients, once they find us and start booking regular runs, they have peace of mind that their dog is getting all the exercise they need to stay happy and healthy, but also that they're in really good hands of local pet professionals that really care about their pets.
Right.
Another thing that the parents tell me is they don't have any more guilt. They have long days at work and they don't feel bad that, their dog's best friend is coming during the day to make sure they're getting a good adventure. So those parents are truly elated. And some of them have a much better relationship with their dog.
Sure.
I'm sure you've had an experience with a dog that acts out because they may not be getting enough exercise or something's going on. A dog that's acting out isn't healthy or happy for you or that dog.
Right.
And when your dog is well exercised, it makes them happier, which ultimately is going to make you happier too.
So true. I have 3 rescue Cocker Spaniels, and I do have a fenced-in backyard, but, I do take them on power walks in my neighborhood. One, different smells, right? And
totally.
it gets their energy, they're just high-energy dogs. They sleep better. So if there's a few days when we have rain, like, 3 days in a row or what have you, I will notice an actual difference, especially in Tuxie. And he really, really needs those, power walks, light jogs. Sometimes we run, just depends, right? So point well made. And when the dogs see you now, do they get all excited? So here comes my run.
I have never felt better about myself than when I go to see these dogs.
Right.
So I have a pair of dogs every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. They are sitting by the door waiting for me. They know when it's Monday. And if there's a holiday and we have to shift runs, they are sitting by that door sad all morning, their mom tells me.
Oh my God.
So these dogs absolutely love it. As soon as their parents get the leash out, they know what they're going to do.
Sure. Oh, that's amazing. So, can you share some of the highlights from your specific dogs that you work, 1 or 2 really cute stories?
So one of my favorite stories is I actually took a dog along with me on a 5K race. So I do a lot of running without dogs too. And I used to compete in races a lot. And I decided to bring one of our super fast dogs. His name is Lox. He's a pit bull mix. In the beginning, I was taking him on long runs and he could run 9 or 10 miles with no issue.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
It was insane to see. It was awesome to see him work up to that. So I took him for a race and he won.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know this. They had a little doggy statue prepared for the doggy winner. It was so cool to see. And honestly, he was pulling me a bit. I can run very fast, but nothing can run faster than a dog in the front of the pack at a race.
Right. He gave you a workout, right?
Yes. It was a rough day.
Right. So, given the scenario that we're talking about, so another thing came to my mind as a doggy owner, right, is, dogs running, a new handler, and, a new space, all part of the equation here, right? So what are some of the initial, pain points that you and your team, encountered early on, and how do you, actually, keep the dogs safe?
So one of the biggest challenges that we face at Ruff Runners is sometimes gaining a dog's trust. A dog loves their owner, they love their home, they feel safe in those spaces. And all of a sudden, a new person like me goes in, leashes them up, and tries to take them away. That can be stressful and confusing for a dog.
Sure.
Some dogs absolutely love us and go right away.
Right.
So let me tell you about a dog named Ash. I actually just met him 3 weeks ago, and he's a 1-year-old shepherd mix. And when his parents reached out, they let me know it would probably take him weeks to warm up to me.
Okay.
And we get this, so I was ready for this. And when I got there, I was honestly very sad to see this dog cowering in a corner in his own home where he's safe.
Right.
And in instances like that, we've got to get creative. It can be really difficult to work with a dog that doesn't want anything to do with you.
No, absolutely. And one of my dogs is from a puppy mill, right? And had that same behavior, afraid of men, and would run to the back and cower. And I can't imagine, as a dog owner, gosh, how did you handle that?
So with Ash, we definitely had to get creative. I knew that he wanted nothing to do with me and I wasn't going to be able to fix this. So what I did is I worked a little magic and we did some dog therapy. So that dog I told you about, Lox, who won that race with me, he's a really good alpha dog. So I took him over to meet Ash. They got to introducing and playing a little bit. And it got to the point where we could tell that Ash trusted Locks. Ash looked up to Locks.
Yeah.
And so then we were able to take a walk, and his parents were thrilled with the progress that Ash made in just that second session.
That's
Normally,
incredible.
a loud truck would send Ash spinning.
Yeah.
And when a loud noise happened during our walk, he just looked at Locks. Locks was good, and they just kept going. And we got to a point where I could hold the leash with Ash, and his parents, they were just over the moon about that. They thought it would take over a month to get to that point.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
No, that is amazing. And, that's great that you're so well trained and you've studied canine behavior and you were able to diagnose and quickly, move this dog forward much faster than, had they not called Ruff Runners, right?
Yeah.
And asked for your service. That is so neat. Do you require any sort of training or certifications for the other Ruff Runners on your team?
So our Ruff Runners are trained by me. There's
Okay.
some specific qualifications we look for in a Ruff Runner. The first off is you've got to be an experienced runner. As a runner running on busy roads, there are so many distractions and dangers that you've got to be equipped to handle. And unless you've done a ton of running yourself, it's not likely you're going to be able to keep a dog safe if you don't have that kind of experience.
Sure.
So first, we're looking for people who have a lot of experience with running and are capable of keeping up with our pups, of course.
And then you teach them one-on-one, right?
Yep. So each runner, they have some reading material to go through, and then we do an in-person training session where we go over all this information. We talk specifically about how to read a dog's behavior to make sure that they're happy and in a good mood during a run. We also need to know if dogs are going to be aggressive. If there's another dog coming, you got to know how your dog's acting so you can prepare for that. There's a ton that we do to talk to our runners about keeping the dog safe during the run. For example, being aware of chicken bones on the ground. In Atlanta, they are everywhere.
Oh my God.
And
Who
unless
would have thought, right? Okay.
and that is a specific thing we train is you got to look out for chicken bones because if your dog is able to get one on a run, that could be really dangerous.
Right. I mean, they can choke and die and all of that, right? It's the same thing. That is, wow. So you're running, you're looking down, any chicken bones, any cars, any this.
Are there dogs coming in front of
Wow.
you, behind you? So we have that training session in person. And then right after, that runner has an assessment run with one of our dogs. All of our runners use our specified leash system, which I trust to keep dogs safe, secure, and comfortable with us at all times.
Great.
So our runners do that assessment run. I make sure that I can trust them to follow our rules and then run accordingly when I'm not there.
Yeah.
And then from there, they're ready to handle new pups.
Wonderful. It sounds like your team really enjoys what they do. How long is the average tenure for one of your Ruff Runners?
So I've honestly only had one runner ever leave our service.
Wow.
And it was because I couldn't get him more runs. And
Oh my gosh.
it was very unfortunate to have him go. I loved him.
Yeah, so we need to grow your business so you can bring him back because
Yeah.
you need more runs.
So there's definitely a balance of making sure you've got enough runners when you're trying to go to a new area. The last thing I want to do is to get people excited that I can help their dogs and then not have enough people to fit their schedule.
Right.
Which was the
right.
case with this person. He was just in an area where
Sure.
we didn't have enough other runners to get that business.
Okay.
But everyone else has been with us since the beginning. Some of them will run multiple times a day.
Yeah.
They are absolutely loving it. They post these dogs all over their Instagram.
Right,
you
yeah.
can tell that they're in love with it too. And it's so cool to create a job that people love.
No, and I was going to say, here we are in the Atlanta metro area, right? It's a major U.S. city. What's it like having a pet service in a major metropolitan area?
So we have had such great, we've been received so well by other people in the Atlanta pet industry and also worldwide. But Atlanta specifically, people really care about their animals here. I'm sure
yes.
you've been involved with so many organizations.
Absolutely, right? Dogs, companion animals, Atlanta loves their pets, and so does Welcome Home Doggy, for sure.
So at Ruff Runners, I wanted to have a special relationship with pet professionals. Before we started, I sat down with vets. For example, Dr. Annie Price of Ormwood Animal Hospital. I sat down and talked with her about all the minute details that I wanted to make sure we're going to be covered. And not only did she support me, but she let me know how helpful this was going to be for her clients and for other people.
Wow.
She let me know other people I could talk to that could give me more insight into what I needed to learn to grow this business.
What a great endorsement from a vet, right? To say, my goodness, Jordan, this is going to be so good for my dogs and the dogs, that you take on a run, which is just so cool. And for the runners who love to do it, right? That's got to be fun too, right?
Yes.
You run, listen to your music, but now you get to have a dog with you.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Runners, we like to exercise. We're doing it already.
Right. Runners are definitely hardcore, want to be out there every day.
We're a special breed for sure. But now with Ruff Runners, it affords those runners an opportunity to do something better with that running. They get to make a difference in a dog's life while also making some money for themselves and staying healthy.
Sure. So how has Ruff Runners changed your life, Jordan?
Ruff Runners has definitely changed my life. There's two big areas. The first of which is it's given me a job that I absolutely love. Clearly,
your energy and the effusive passion you have is just, it's so obvious, and that is so great.
Thank you. I know that it comes out because people tell me, and I so appreciate hearing that. Yeah. One of my earliest clients, her name is Amy. She is a self-proclaimed groupie of Ruff Runners. Okay. Early on, she told me that she said to her daughter, Penny, you need to do what Jordan did when you grow up. Find something you love and make a living doing it. And hearing her say that about me was amazing. I never thought I could be an inspiration for somebody else.
And a role model, right? That is so neat. What an amazing 360 to hear. That's kind of when it all comes back full circle and you hear that you're affecting, a young person's life. That's so cool.
It was so cool. So that was definitely the main change in my life is I now have a purpose that I love and I'm making a difference, which is so cool.
Yeah.
The other big change in my life is now I also have a furry four-legged friend at home. So when I launched Ruff Runners, I didn't have a dog. I had a kind of life where I didn't feel like I could give enough time to a dog. And so the opportunity to do Ruff Runners gave me the chance to hang out with dogs without feeling guilty about not being able to take care of them when I didn't have the time at home.
Right.
But through Ruff Runners, I met a beautiful pit bull. At the time, his name was King. So I do some free runs for foster dogs when I meet them. It gives them a great opportunity to get out of their house and just enjoy themselves for a little bit.
That's so nice.
And so this dog was one of those dogs that I was running for free just while he was in foster care. Long story short, his foster situation needed to change. I just bought a house and had an extra bedroom. And now he has his own bedroom at my house, and we're best friends.
Oh my gosh! And Foster is your dog. You're permanent. He's a foster fail.
So I named him Foster because it was a intermediate name. It was just a joke, and now it's a long-running joke because obviously he's a foster
name,
fail.
But it has, in the dog world, right? Lots of meaning, right?
Yes,
we've all fostered
it totally
dogs.
does, and he is a foster.
So that's awesome. So I'm glad that you are a dog owner too.
I'm very happy to.
What advice would you have for someone watching today who wants to make that shift from their job to a career that they have passion for?
The best thing that I could tell someone who wants to go after something they're passionate about, the best advice I could give is to prepare yourself. I had this idea, I was so excited about it, and I was ready to launch it, but I had so much work I needed to do to launch it correctly. In the beginning, I talked with a business consultant, and the thing he told me is, Jordan, you need to become a dog running expert. Now, you probably know there is no such thing as a dog running expert, but you need to become that. And in the process of becoming a dog running expert, I realized there's a lot of hard work you've got to do to put your passion into play and to be able to do that. And it can be a lot of hard, uncomfortable work, but it is important work that will help set you up for success.
When we were talking, I remember you had said to me, he said, Jordan, you just have to make the leap, right? And COVID was that catalyst, right? So tell me about the day that you said, today's the day. I'm going to take his advice and I'm going to leap. I'm going to quit my job.
So I gotta be honest, it was a little bit helpful thanks to the pandemic because I was furloughed from my position. So during that furlough, I was thinking, do I want to try to wait it out and have that corporate job to go back to? Or do I want to take this opportunity, grab these dogs by the leash and run with it? And I knew I was ready for it thanks to all the work that I had done. So I feel
universe
lucky.
was giving you a nudge.
Yeah, and I feel very grateful. The pandemic has been awful for all of us, and I've had a lot of hardships myself, but I was set up for success for this, and I was able to do it thanks to that hard work that I set up for this.
Wow, so you made it over, and now look, right? So there's this happy if you can follow your gut and your dream, right? Sometimes maybe it's a little uncomfortable for a tiny bit.
Totally.
And then you're in the groove, right? And yeah, that is super. So, you know, and Elvis, he's been like so amazing. He's like, oh, I'm tired from my big.
This is what regular exercise will do for you.
Exactly. Thank you, Jordan, so much. Not only, you know, for your time today, but what you're doing for dogs in the Atlanta metro area, keeping them healthy and happy.
Well, thank you very much. We love doing it. We've received so much love and support, and words like yours mean a lot to us. I really appreciate that.
Wonderful. Well, that's a wrap for our show today. But join us next week and follow our next episode where you can learn more about creating a better quality of life for your dog and all dogs. To find out more about today's show and our guest today, Jordan, please subscribe to our channel, visit our website, follow us on Instagram, and like us on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Welcome Home Doggy.